Hey, good morning. Good morning, Abby from Florida. Today is a beautiful day here in Tampa. And it's so nice to be here with you. And I guess we can start introducing ourselves and telling how we're here. Why are we here today speaking? So, yeah, I have, my name is Monica Jaramillo, and originally from Colombia. I live in the US. And I have a movement, I can call it, and a project. It's called Rosita and Pepa. And this is a movement inspiring my grandmothers. And what I really want to do with this is to create awareness around grandmother archetype and how can we really create the new and based on ancient wisdom and bring all of the feminine wisdom, the wisdom keepers, grandmothers, and everything that represents. And for me, what it represents is the connection to nature, the connection to the trees, the connection to our senses, and connection to community. When you go back, how ancient our ancestors, our grandmothers used to live, they were very connected to the herbs, to the medicine, to the nature. So trying to organize International Women's Day celebration around that wisdom, feminine wisdom. And I thought that Treesisters had to be part of this. So I reached out as a tree sister, and I've been a tree sister already like for 2 years and a half, I guess, after I heard Claire Dubois in one of the summits, I guess was the Divine Feminine Summit from Kenley Colleen, that's her name. I thought she was amazing, and her work is just amazing. And I said, oh my God, I have to be part of this. I have to know more about it. I have to contribute to the planet. And I've been following, I've been part of the groups and the gatherings, the moon cycles and everything. So yeah, and I was just seeing that you were launching an International Women's Day event. Actually, I know it's starting today. So yeah, you will tell us more about it. But I reached out and I saw that you were one of the organizers. So I just sent you a message to say, Abby, I would love to help you spreading what you're doing out there through my event. My event is starting on March 7th during the month of March. And I know yours is starting today and is going to go until March 8th with all the circles. So yeah, this is how we are here. I reached out and I wanted to help her spread it and make some questions about the Tree Sisters and about the event. So here you are. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe we can go from there.
Thank you, Monica. Yeah, it's great. It's great to hear your how you became a Tree Sister and your journey with Tree Sisters, and yeah, that it's a common way in to find the way Claire speaks in these interviews is so often hugely inspiring, and so it's always a great way to bring more women close to the heart of Tree Sisters. And yeah, it was great to get your your message and that we have this kind of shared vision around International Women's Day. So I am one half of the Groves managers with Tree Sisters, and the Groves is the women's work part of Tree Sisters. So we support women all over the world to come together in circle and take action for the trees. So our work is around women. Over the last year, it's been around supporting women to have online circles or distance circles, or bearing in mind all of the restrictions around the world. And we really hope to get back to supporting women to be having in-person circles and deepening their connection with each other, with the land, and inspiring and supporting each other to take action on behalf of the planet. So we feel very, very strongly about community, very strongly about sharing, coming together, and that was really one of the things that got us into this theme of resilience, which is,
Mhm.
yeah, it's quite a sort of buzzword at the moment. I think over the last year, sort of, I notice hearing it like in the news and, you know, various things.
Everywhere, yeah.
It's like, and it's an interesting, yeah, it's an interesting word. You know, we thought, well, it was actually from another team member, Ellie, who works as
Mhm.
network support, and she said, yeah, resilience, that, you know, women's resilience, and we were already in this with this idea of women coming together and telling stories, and the kind of supportive nature of of telling stories, and particularly across generations. And you know, before we arrived at resilience, we were sort of with this, like, something of what you spoke of around kind of lost skills, and you know, things that we used to know how to do, but we don't pay attention to anymore, and knowing that this wisdom and these skills are kind of, you know, locked up in people, in, you know, ancestors, but also, you know, in other generations who are still with us, and how could we sort of access that. And then I think that sort of crossed over with the times that we're living in, and what we've been asked to kind of call on in ourselves, in order to sort of, you know, stay grounded, stay in this territory of not knowing what's coming next, and, you know, surrounded by grief and loss, and, you know, everything else that it has been. It's like, okay, how can we stay resilient? How can we look after each other? What's resourcing us? And from a Tree Sisters perspective, it's been very much about, you know, nature. How does nature do this? How does nature bend to change? How does nature adapt? And what can we learn, as well as, you know, the simple fact of getting outside and being with nature, and how that feeds us. That was another big theme that kind of came through when we surveyed women who have groves, and asked them, you know, what's got you through this time. And they said, you know, I have this tree, I go for this walk, you know, I go to the woods, or I go to the river, and I just sit, and you know, and I don't feel so alone. Like, you know, for a lot of people who've been in total isolation, it was, you know, just, yeah, having the connection and the accompaniment of nature was, you know, was a source of connection, soothing, love. So we sort of figured we wanted to weave all that together, and yeah, and really celebrate on the 8th of March.
Oh, I love that. And that's amazing, because I remember seeing that about resilience, and how another thing that I remember caught my attention was that you were inviting grandmothers, granddaughters, so all that intergenerational connection to participate in the circles. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is so connected with my purpose, what I'm doing. And it's so beautiful how you explained all this was like, what's the origin of the idea of the resilience for you? So you for the Tree Sisters, and how you were seeing it on the media and around. Everything is just like talking about the need of resilience in these difficult times, and these times that we don't know what's going to happen, and that we need to adapt. So that's so beautiful. So I love what is the meaning of resilience for Tree Sisters. Is there something that you want to add to that definition? And
yeah, so we kind of refined, because we realized, you know, resilience means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and that it also has this, you know, it can be used in quite a kind of hard, sort of pushy, sort of, or you just grit your teeth and get on with it, like, you know, pretend you don't feel anything, sort of, you know, Iron Man type of resilience. You know, I think it's quite often used in that. And so we wanted to make sure, you know, that's not, we're not saying just pretend that nothing's terrible and push through it. Like, you know, we're very much not about, you know, that resilience has in the same way that strength has its roots in vulnerability. You know, resilience is very much that. So we did come up with this this definition. I'll just read it so that I
Yeah.
definitely get it correct. So, as Tree Sisters, resilience is our capacity to respond to change by accessing the support of our diverse global community, collaborating, adapting, and continuing to grow towards a thriving world, just as nature does. So it's very much this, about the ability to adapt. And I've been thinking, quite a lot about this, what's very often becomes a kind of fight in the world against things that we don't like. So the fight against COVID or whatever, and and actually, we don't fight. We don't get our resilience from fighting. We get our resilience from looking at what's going on and adapting. That's it's happening in the forest, just for the tree seeking the next bit of light it can find. Where does it need to grow? It's not just like bashing another tree out of the way to find the light. It's like this interplay between organisms, and so we really wanted to celebrate that in community.
I love that, and it sounds to me like it's really resilience is a way to sustain sustain our way ourselves, or sustain ourselves in these crazy times, and is a way to find something to hang from, like if you're resilient, you can just go with the flow and as you said, adapt and in what is happening now. And I think moving forward, we don't know, it's always going to be changing, like it has always been. But I think we thought we were in control, but we were never in control. It's same as nature, right? It's
Definitely.
just like it's always changing, and everything in nature flows so well that the resilience is what keeps things moving.
Yeah, there's something about that, like the role of like what do we need to relinquish in order to find like a really deeply kind of rooted resilience. We might need to let go of things,
Yes.
and one of the other things that partly inspired the thoughts around the intergenerational aspect of this, and speaking to particularly speaking to grandmothers, was in some one-to-one work I was doing. I was working with I think she's 86, around her health, and I was kind of taking her whole health history, getting her like whole story from she was married before the start of the Second World War, and various things that had kind of she'd had this enormous full life, 3 children, marriage, her husband had now died, she'd been through the war, different careers, there was just, and I was so sort of humbled by her, and I'm like looking for signs of when there's been tricky events in her life, and how that might have impacted her health, and this kind of thing. And just the story she told of like what that's how it was, and and just kind of getting that sense of like, wow, you've really, that it was the word that kind of I came away from that session with, like what a humility, and like, wow, that that is resilience, that she's just stayed kind of with herself through all of these challenging experiences, and they've each kind of built a muscle of resilience in her for how to sort of be in the world. And also I think the humility that I felt was just part of, I don't hear these stories, like I'm not talking to these people, or just sitting down. This is in a professional sort of setting where part of my role is to get this whole history, and and I was so kind of captivated by her story, and I just thought, imagine if that goes through different generations in the form of storytelling, like how much we potentially have to learn from each other for ways of, I'm sure there's been ways of being in the past that haven't been so that we can learn from each other. It's not a sort of one directional journey, but it was very rich and inspiring. So that was kind of the roots of wanting it to be across generations.
Oh, I love that because I'm so passionate about those stories and the wisdom that we can get from those, let's call it grandmothers or wise women of today and even from the past, because they have lived so much experiences, like you say, war or people that had lose their family, children, husbands, and so there has to be a lot of resilience and love, and
Mm,
yeah, and the way they teach us how to remain rooted and also value our origins and our
mm,
roots, our
mm,
land,
mm,
like take care of your own land and take care
mm,
of your own community.
mm,
And, we help each other. There is reciprocity. So it's so beautiful because if we get disconnected from that wisdom, we just see what's happening today, and we have so much to learn from that and kind
mm.
of take that and create the new. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, and that call to come into community, that like to be like the forest, that the forest isn't a lone tree, just try, a lone tree is never going to be as resilient as the whole forest with their interconnected communication. They're like, I'll move this way, you move that way, we need each other, we're feeding life down here, it's always
Yeah.
it. And if we can be more like that as women, as all humans, but celebrating the way in which women, that the need for spaces for women to come together in community, so such as having a grove, having a women's circle, a place where you can come and share stories of your vulnerability, of your strength,
Right.
and have the backing of women behind you as you step forward to take these kind of courageous acts, then then I think that's what's needed right now.
I love it. Everybody learning from the stories, even the kids, and yeah,
Mm,
all of us.
mm,
So I love it. So yeah, tell me what offerings are you also uh, doing with the International Women's Day? Like what else is happening
mm.
during this
So
month?
so
Yeah.
we have started today. Today's the 1st of March, and in the run up to International Women's Day on the 8th of March, we're doing something that we're calling the 8 days of resilience. So every day is kind of lifting up, telling a story of somebody's. It's either there's like interviews released, or there's a meditation coming later this week. Um, Interviews with inspiring women from around the world, around their own personal stories of resilience and resilience in their communities. There's some blog posts, so every day there'll be kind of new material to kind of get stuck into and inspire over the next week. And then on the 8th of March, where our invitation is for women to come together, maybe over next weekend or on the 8th of March itself, and gather, if you can gather in person, to gather with women across generations, or gather online, create a circle, and come together and share your stories. And it's a place to come and really celebrate the things that have like got you through, whether it's this last year or whether it's been other challenging times in your life, but come and share and be witnessed and feel that experience of being seen and heard and held in a community of women. And if that's not something that you're familiar with, it's it can have a huge impact. It can feel very vulnerable, but it can be like hugely strengthening. So we're inviting people to just come and have that kind of experience. And we've put together a whole like guide. If you haven't held a circle or been to a circle before, then we've put together a whole sort of guide on like how we suggest you do it, and ideas for sort of structuring it. And we also have an incredible community within our like community forum called the Nest in Treesisters, which is full of women sharing ideas, and you can reach out to us as Groves managers as well, and you know, if you have any questions. So we want people to feel really supported to hold these circles, and they can be, you know, you can do it for a whole day and include, you know, food and dancing and all sorts of things. Or you could just come together on Zoom for half an hour and, you know, sit together. Yeah, there's lots of different ways, but we just, yeah, ask you to come and collect and gather these stories and these resources, like what, you know, what have been the things. So our sort of ask in terms of what you bring back into Tree Sisters is that together we sort of gather like a medicine bag of tools, of different ways in which, oh, someone said they did this, they went and they meditated by a certain tree every day, or someone else said they, you know, they just went to cook with an elderly neighbor, and you know, that was their like weekly ritual that really gave them like meaning and purpose. And so together we kind of bring that back into the community, so we've got these ideas and tools to share with each other. So you know, that's the other wonderful part of being in community, is that we share the wisdom and the inspiration. So yeah. And also the other thing that's going to be happening is myself and Angharad, the other manager of the Groves, we're going to be holding a circle next Monday evening time, UK time, 6:30 to 8:30. So where we will be using our own guidelines of women coming together and sharing their stories. So so there's lots happening. It's a busy week.
It is an exciting and busy week. That's so delightful, and I will love. That's why I want to I'm loving this, just kind of spreading what is going on here, and especially what I noticed after last year pandemic. A lot of people are alone, feeling lonely, in need of a community, especially women in need of a sisterhood, of a group of women that we can sustain each other. And this is amazing. And especially for those, I will say, elders, grandmothers, that they are the ones that are really feeling lonely and in need of community. So this will be amazing to get in touch with Tree Sisters, be part of this celebration and these circles, and being invited and share their stories and feel that they are important, that we need them.
We need them, yeah.
Yes. And they can contribute with the world and don't feel like there is no point to be here anymore, so I love that idea. And I think even moving forward, because you have such an amazing community, and we need to spread it out there, the nest and everything that Tree Sisters does. It's like women out there that are feeling lonely, this is the best way to
it's a beautiful community to come into the nest, to take part in the full moon calls and the various other offerings and interviews. And you know, there's always so much, like, you know, we love to just draw on everyone in the world who's doing incredible stuff right now and share it with the community. So yeah, the nest is a brilliant place to just come and share and read and connect. You know, there's some really beautiful, profound friendships with people who've never met in real life, you know, through that virtual community. So and that's not something that's only happened over the last year. That's just how that how the community works, because we are a global charity. So you know, most of us as the team haven't met in real life. So we're very you know, accustomed to this kind of remote way of working, but it doesn't prevent, for anyone who's kind of still feels skeptical of the remoteness of connection. You know, it's not the same, and you know, there's not the touch and the energy exchange, but the depth and the intimacy is profoundly possible through online connection and online community. So yeah, I would really encourage anyone to come and have a look. And there's more details about the whole International Women's Day campaign at treesisters.org, and you can sign up and get the link to come and join our circle next week, or the information to come into the nest and learn about how to run your own circle. So yeah, it's all there. So yeah, I really look forward to welcoming more people on board, and you know, and being, yeah, it's been a great honor to be part of your offering, and it looks, yeah, you've got so many amazing people speaking with you, so that's,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's wonderful.
So yeah, I'm loving this, and for sure, this connection with you is just like a great example of what you can get from the nest and from these three sisters with so much collaboration. I reach out and I'm doing my project, my work, and how can we collaborate? And it's so aligned, and now we're here talking. We just had another talk some weeks ago, and it's like, okay, it seems like I know her from a long time, and we just actually met. So this is beautiful. How can we collaborate between women and women, and yeah, spread all this wisdom out there. And,
definitely, definitely.
For sure. Yeah.
Very, very.
And I'm looking forward to having you, because you with your work in our event, that's another thing. But yeah, that's more to come. That will be amazing also. So that's another collaboration, which is going to be amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And that, you know, the nest there's a wonderful creative journey you can follow in the nest. You know, it's a wonderful place for people to come and share their creativity and their creative work, as well as sort of learn and lean in and support each other. So there's so much going on in the nest. So yeah, really encourage women to come join that, and yeah, be a part of these offerings for International Women's Day, and celebrate just how much we are, how vast we are.
Yes. How much the world needs us as well.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
we need each other. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Oh, really, I want to thank you. This has been amazing. Almost 35, 38 minutes that we have been talking here and sharing, and really, wow, the idea was to spread the work out there. So I'm loving this collaboration, and I'm going to be in the circles. I'm going to be there listening to the interviews. I just love it. And of course, I'm going to present this in the event. Grandma's March is also a collective women on feminine wisdom. So yeah, I really wanted to have Three Sisters being part of that collective weaving.
Thank you
bring
so
the
much.
wisdom that it represents. So really thank you, Abby, for being here. And
yeah, real honor. And,
we're in this together. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And you.